What up, Whisper Nation? Big Travy, Giant Game Time Hicks, and the Fantasy Whisperers back at it. Episode 93. We got a fun one today. We are doing a mock draft episode. Couldn't figure out anything better to do while stuck in this coronavirus lockdown. So we thought we'd give you guys a little mock draft right here on the Fantasy Whisperers.
Yes, we're back again.
Hey, let's pump up the volume.
Right here.
What is good, Whisper Nation? Big Travy, Johnny Game Time Hicks here with episode 93 of the Fantasy Whispers. And Johnny, today we're going to be doing a 10-team PPR mock draft. So pretty excited about that. We always love mocking, and we know you guys, Whisper Nation, you guys love it out there too. As always, if you aren't following the show on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, please make sure you search the Fantasy Whispers and follow us on all those social platforms. And also go over to thefantasywhispers.com. Check out all the fresh content. Some of our old content from last year is still up there, still live. Some of our articles, so go check that out. It's a great website.
We are updating the website, so a new format will be rolling out here shortly. We're really excited for that. Our web developer has been working very hard on getting that transferred over. So we're excited to bring you some new content on the new website. But
yes,
I think
very
we got
excited.
Some more exciting news to talk about here before we get into this mock draft, Travis.
Yeah, so we're trying to implement some of the community over on Reddit. So if you're not over following Reddit Fantasy Football, you should. It's just a great community of people with these fantasy football nut minds that we have. That are trying to come together and talk about this stuff. So we've got a couple questions we wanted to address here. Hopefully these guys are listening. If not, hopefully we get them to listen to the podcast. The first one is interesting economics. And he says, or he or she, could be she. He's got a 14-team half-point PPR league, Johnny, 7 keepers. The draft starts in the 8th round. And so he is keeping currently Josh Allen, Chris Carson, Josh Jacobs, Amari Cooper, DJ Moore, Scary Terry. And he's asking if his 7th keeper should be Mecole Hardman, Noah Fant, O.J. Howard, or Paris Campbell. You're on the clock.
I do like this question, so thank you for posting it on Reddit. One funny thing, Travis, that I thought was hilarious was when we were doing our show notes that you had mentioned, at this point, why don't you just go full on dynasty with it? If you're having 7 keepers and the draft is starting in the 8th round, you might as well just go full on dynasty and enjoy all the benefits of full on dynasty. But if I'm looking at this question, Travis, I was a little hesitant with the O.J. Howard. I thought that that might be a really, really good pick to take, kind of fill out your roster, and then you're going into the 8th round, with kind of all chips on the table. You have your options, right? Because now you'd have a quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a tight end. However, I am not certain that O.J. Howard is going to be the player that we all wish he could be, the top 5 tight end. I think the talent is there for sure, but I don't know if Bruce Arians' system is necessarily will, and it's never really had a tight end blossom under him. So I still have my concerns, even though Tom Brady is a much improved at the quarterback position. I mean, Jameis Winston loved O.J. Howard 2 years ago, and then what happened? It wasn't like he just fell off of a cliff. So my answer to this question, because of that, would be Mecole Hardman. I think that's the best value. His draft stock is probably going to be, we're about to a mock draft. We'll see. This obviously isn't going to be a 14-teamer, but I would imagine Mecole's value is somewhere in the 7th round, 8th round right now. So you're not getting much of a steal there, but I think that he has the highest ceiling out of those 4 players. What about you, Travis?
I think for me, I tend to agree with you here. I'd like to see what interesting economics has on the bench here as far as running backs, like what his other option to keep at running back would be. He didn't mention any, and the fact that he's got Chris Carson and Josh Jacobs maybe means that he's not as deep at running back, and that's why you have these other options that are more intriguing. But in a 14-team, half-point PPR, 14-team regardless, like you want to stack running back. So if there's a possibility he had a running back on the bench, I would have liked to seen that. But I agree, McCole Hardman's upside is tremendous. We already know how fast he is, and could be just as fast, if not in some spurts faster than Tyreek Hill at times. And so now you put him in this offense, and we've seen Tyreek Hill already kind of get in trouble multiple times here. So he could definitely step up, and Patrick Mahomes is going to do nothing but improve in my eyes. And so he's definitely got the most upside. Love O.J. Howard, love Noah Fant even, but give me McCole Hardman. I think
Noah
he's the more
Fant
sure
was an
thing.
interesting one too as well. I think that he could be a nice sleeper tight end as well this year. But I think you can
we're going to keep
pick him up in your draft.
Yeah. We're going to keep it tight end centric here, and we're going to go with our next question, final question from Reddit today, provided by Starks21. And it says, is Hayden Hurst in a good situation? So, Johnny, Hayden Hurst, now with the Falcons. Talk to us a little bit about that and the relationship with Dirk Cutter.
So, obviously, Austin Hooper was signed by the Cleveland Browns, so he will be going over there. That left a vacancy at the tight end position. We know how much the Atlanta Hawks and Dirk Cutter likes to use the tight end position. So, having any kind of tight end come in, you automatically raise an eyebrow. And then you look at what Hayden Hurst, former first round, I wasn't really sure on the pick when the Baltimore Ravens made it because Mark Andrews was still available. And in my draft stock, Mark Andrews was the number one tight end coming out that year. Well, they ended up grabbing him 2 rounds later. And so they had to trade him to Atlanta. I like the overall position. I like the outlook. You and I have a little bit differing opinions on the possible end of season stats. I do believe that, Austin Hooper was a top 6 tight end. I do not see why Hayden Hurst couldn't end up being a top 6 tight end, especially in the land of tight ends that we have today where they are all up and down. You never really find a consistent one. Besides, the big 2, big 3 that you would put up there. So for me, I think that Hayden Hurst is a nice guy that you could, draft late in your drafts. A lot like Mark Andrews. People don't know about Hayden Hurst, but he looked
friend of the
good.
show, Mark Andrews.
Yep. And Mark Andrews, friend of the show. But Hayden Hurst looked good last year. He just, with Mark Andrews being the beast of a football player that he is, it was kind of hard seeing both of them.
So Hayden Hurst's comp is similar to Dallas Clark. That's at least some of the draft scouts have compared him to Dallas Clark. And he's got a fearless mentality, right? So he's going to go out on every play. He doesn't care. He kind of just goes over the middle. And that's exactly what you want to see in your tight end. That's what Austin Hooper played with last year in this offense. I am hesitant to give him the top 6 crown of Austin Hooper. But like Johnny said, you're talking about a muddled field of tight ends where really you can kind of get a guy that's going to be way late and give you that top 6 production from week to week at times. I do hesitate just a little bit, though, because I am a believer in Calvin Ridley. I believe Calvin Ridley is, really close to being the number 1 wide receiver in Atlanta. I think Julio will eventually take that step back, and Calvin will supplant him. And I think, what does that mean for targets over the middle of the field? We'll see. I mean, last year, Austin Hooper and Calvin Ridley both got theirs at times. And then you saw when Calvin Ridley went down with injury, and Austin Hooper as well. So I think Hayden Hurst is in a good situation. Long story short, I think this is a good situation. And I think you can draft him, like Johnny said, late in drafts, and you'll be rewarded for it going further. But speaking about drafting, Johnny, I think it's about time we jump into this mock draft.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, we will decide right here and right now, Travis, what draft spot do you want to claim? I'll let you even go first. I'll let you be this.
I'm going to take 4.
You're going to take 4? All right, I'll go I'll go 9. Go near the end here. And we will go ahead and start this draft. Again, positions are quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and a kicker. And then we have a defense and 5 bench spots. So it'll be a quicker mock draft. Should be a lot of fun. Travis, you are on the clock, my man.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Devontae Adams here. I think it was between him or Alvin Kamara for me, really, that I was debating. And I just think that Alvin Kamara may have, finally gotten past the hyper efficiency that was basically what he was in his first 2 years in his career. And now he's a fine running back. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be great. But I don't think he's going to be that number one guy that we've been kind of pegging him as. And Devontae Adams, second year in LaFleur's offense, I think hopefully fully healthy this year.
I love Devontae Adams. Took him in the Smitty League. I know we talked about it on the last show. We took Devontae Adams in that mega league in the first round, so I'm super happy about that.
So after Adams, Le'Veon Bell, then Alvin Kamara, David Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, and now Johnny's on the clock under the TFW login here. So, no pressure, but, you got TFW.
I already have my base. So
whole Whisper Nation.
This is our very first mock draft that we are doing of the season. Very first. This is a true confession. Very first mock draft we are doing this season. However, based on what we have seen, we are in the like we said, the mega league, but those are a little bit different circumstances. But just based on what I've seen there, like the ADPs aren't quite adjusted yet on Sleeper because you have David Johnson still going in the first round.
Right.
Le'Veon Bell still going in the first round. Saquon, CMC, and Zeke were the first three off the board, which makes sense there. But I'm at the end of the first round, and I'm going to go Michael Thomas here, best available here. And that's worked out perfectly because right after I took Michael Thomas, Julio Jones went, then James Conner, and which I wanted Nick Chubb. I was hoping to get Michael Thomas and Nick Chubb. That's my first two picks. Loving those. Again, James Conner will probably... Where are you more so looking at James Conner in a 10-team PPR league?
Well, the news out of Pittsburgh now is that they're most assuredly going to draft a running back in Pittsburgh. I do think Conner has now proven that he may have some injury issues, and they may just realize that they have to go committee-based there in Pittsburgh. So it would have to be kind of similar to where these other, committee guys are going. And I don't think I'm willing to take him in the second, and definitely not the early second, in my opinion. So I'm sitting here on the clock. So James Conner went. We were just talking about him. Johnny took Nick Chubb. I think that's a great pick. Was, a wish and a prayer. I was hoping he fell back to me, but I didn't think that was going to happen. Tyreek Hill, Juju Smith-Schuster, Todd Gurley, now in Atlanta. Dalvin Cook. Oh, wish that would have fell.
Oh, I didn't even see the Dalvin Cook one.
Dalvin Cook was who I was looking at right
I should
there.
have taken Dalvin over Nick Chubb,
but here we are. And so here we are. So I'm on the clock, about 50 seconds left. I got a little bit of a dilemma here. Let me see what I can do. I'm going to just try this out. I love OBJ, but I'm going to go with Mike Evans. I think with Tom Brady, I think he's got the better shot of consistently putting up the numbers I need. And my guy fell to me just like I wanted him to, Leonard Fournette here. So I waited on Fournette. I was going to take him in the second here. Then OBJ went, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Mixon, Adam Thielen, Antonio Brown, not with a team, but definitely drafted by the computer here. And I'm going to take Leonard Fournette. Now, Leonard Fournette, if you're burned by Leonard Fournette, you need to understand that he had all the volume in the world last year, just did not score touchdowns. Literally, only CMC, I believe, was getting more usage week to week than Leonard Fournette. So I think that I want that kind of usage because it should overcorrect in a big way this year. So after Leonard Fournette went Damian Williams, Kerryon Johnson, then Keenan Allen, David Montgomery. Some interesting names here. You can kind of see how the ADP is a little wonky right now as we're still early on.
Right.
Obviously no rookies drafted by any teams yet. We haven't had the NFL draft. So Johnny's on the clock here. Johnny, what are you thinking? You went wide receiver and then running back.
Yeah, so what I'm basically looking at, there's some really good running backs still available on the board. Chris Carson, Aaron Jones, and Josh Jacobs are the three that I'm looking at. I'm looking at the guy behind me. He's got a wide receiver and a running back taken just like I do. But if I look over here at the wide receivers, there is a very nice grouping here. You got Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper, and then Chris Godwin is still available on the board. So I'm going to pair Michael Thomas with Chris Godwin here, and then hope that the computer doesn't go back-to-back running backs, and then I can grab Josh Jacobs. There we go, and it worked out. So I have the ability to go Aaron Jones or Josh Jacobs here. Aaron Jones had the monster year last year, Travis. We are a huge fan of Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
We tried to get him to be a fan of our show, but it didn't work out. But with the regression, now this is a 4th round, and Aaron Jones in the 4th round is a huge steal here. Leaning Josh Jacobs or Aaron Jones. This one's a little tough. I think I'm gonna go Josh Jacobs over Aaron Jones. That might be a mistake.
I like that. I think it's the safer play. I think Aaron Jones is a guy with a little bit of an injury history. You're trying to discuss between the two. You're going to say the usage of Josh Jacobs, the safe, or you're going to say the pure upside of Aaron Jones, and can Aaron Jones consistently, it's kind of the Alvin Kamara effect. Can Aaron Jones consistently put up these eye-popping numbers every year? I think I would trust a little bit more in Josh Jacobs' volume. Not that I don't love Aaron Jones' talent more.
So,
all right, so so after you got Josh Jacobs, we saw Devonta Freeman without a team get drafted. Stephon Diggs, who I was kind of hoping made it to me there. Aaron Jones, Zach Ertz, and now I'm on the clock here. There's some interesting names here, and I've just got to kind of take a peruse here. Take a peruse. No, just peruse. Take a look. Take a gander. Take a little peekaboo.
We didn't talk about after here. Leonard Fournette was drafted by you on the last pick. Damian Williams, Kerryon Johnson, Keenan Allen, David Montgomery were the picks between Travis and then me picking Chris Godwin. Right after that went Chris Carson and George Kittle to round out the 3rd and then start the 4th. Got some interesting teams here, Travis, but you have 30 seconds left on the clock. What are you thinking here?
I'm going to go with running back, and I'm going to take Mark Ingram here. I think Mark Ingram's poised for another big year in that offense, getting a lot of usage in a very run-heavy offense. They retained pretty much all their starters and added a couple pieces on defense, so I think Baltimore's looking to gear up. And this is maybe not standard for a PPR or a half-point PPR. Is it PPR or half-point?
Full-point PPR.
Full-point. Yeah, so this isn't very standard for PPR, but I'm loving what Tennessee did last year, and I'm going to take Derrick Henry here.
I was like, how is Derrick Henry still available in the 5th round? I understand it's a PPR, but Derrick Henry is a monster, and I do think he'll regress a little bit now that he's getting his money and things like that, but you're still looking at the lead
in my flex
and at the spot. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, in my flex, I definitely wanted to try that out. So was able to get 2 wide receivers. This was that upside down strategy we've talked about before. So I was able to get my starting wide receivers, who I feel very confident in, great situations, legendary quarterbacks, and then rounded out with a few running backs. So after I took Mark Ingram, went Sony Michel, Tyler Lockett, Julian Edelman, then Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks, pair of Rams wide receivers there, Melvin Gordon, newly in Denver, then Derrick Henry, as we just discussed, Amari Cooper, Johnny's favorite wide receiver of all time, Marlon Mack, Josh Gordon, who has probably got to be so pissed that the league is not going to be testing for marijuana anymore. Robert Woods. Yeah.
It's like I came in 10 years too early.
Like, what in the heck? Dude, like, put him back in. Let him come back. That's what I say. Like, let him come back.
Yeah, I think that there's other things going on there besides just the drug use is why he's not back yet. Because he is talented. All right, so I am on the clock here, looking at even the quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson is available, but I'm going to wait I'm not going to go there. Let's see what tight end. Your boy O.J. Howard is the number one tight end. It's saying I do like Hunter Henry a little bit more, but I'm going to wait on my tight ends. So there are two guys that I was looking at here, and I just don't know if I can pass on them. I know that it's a PPR league, but so I'm going to go Austin Eckler here. And then, so this is where I got to make, because, I mean, I know that this guy's not going to make it all the way back to me. Because I know that Travis will take him if I don't take him.
Don't you do it.
So there are two players that I'm either going to draft right now, though. So I'm going to talk myself through this. I do like Calvin Ridley here. He's available, but DJ Moore is still available for a wide receiver's position, and then I've also got Miles Sanders available. So looking at my team, I really, really do like my wide receivers, and I think that I could take a couple more stabs at wide receivers. I'm just going to lock up my running backs here in this PPR, and then I feel very confident in the four that I would have. And
so Miles Sanders, then Tyler Boyd. You know, Miles Sanders watched Jordan Howard go to Miami, so Miles Sanders should be ready to take the reins of the every down back for Philly. Love Miles Sanders' talent. It did look good. Tyler Boyd comes off the board, then James White, then Calvin Ridley, a guy I was looking at there. Aaron Rodgers off the board. And so now I am up on the clock. And I've got to look at what we've got going on here. I think.
Are you going to get nervous on the run of quarterbacks here? There's been two taken: Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers. Listen,
I've got a plan at quarterback. If Johnny can attest, in our league of record last year, I got the one and only Lamar Jackson in the 13th round last year. And it led me to my third championship. And, Johnny's over there crying right now because he just can't believe
I know
that
I should have just
again.
stuck to my guns and went with the guys that I knew were going to be good.
I'm on the clock here, and I just, the computer's telling me to take T.Y. Hilton. I don't love it. I do not love it. I'll tell you that much.
With Phillip Rivers at the helm?
But Phillip Rivers did do wonders for Keenan Allen, and they have a similar play style. So I do know that it's a possibility there. Fine, I'll take him. Didn't want to do it.
Getting T.Y.
I have an idea.
Tevin Coleman,
for this.
Phillip Lindsay, D.D. Westbrook. And then that was to round out the sixth. Then when we started the seventh, we have Duke Johnson, Baker Mayfield, Evan Ingram, Big Travy. You are back on the board. You're back on the clock, I should say.
All right, so I think I could go running back here just to kind of balance things out, but I do like what I did with my three-headed monster. Mm-hmm. And PPR wide receivers that are getting good volume or have a shot to be the number one. This is just kind of a dart throw. I know he hasn't been able to stay healthy, but the upside is there for me. Mm-hmm. And with DeAndre Hopkins being traded away, I'm going to take Will Fuller here. I think I just love the upside. If he can put together a fully healthy season, like we've yet to see Deshaun Watson and Will Fuller put 16 games together, but could you imagine if we have? Because that chemistry and that deep ball is something else.
I think that was a big reason as to why Houston and Bill O'Brien was willing to trade away DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, we've heard all the stories, them saying that DeAndre Hopkins was, causing, ruckus in the locker room. He wasn't listening to Bill O'Brien, like all this stuff. But I truly believe it's because Bill O'Brien thinks and believes that Will Fuller is more than capable of being that wide receiver one for their team. They just need him to stay healthy. So it will be certainly interesting to see if he can do that. Because I do believe in what you're saying. If Will Fuller can stay healthy, he for sure can be a top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah, now he's going to have, hopefully, if he stays healthy, he could have something close to what Hopkins had in volume.
Yeah.
And that's insane for a guy that runs the routes that he does down the field. So it's a Tyreek Hill kind of game-breaking speed that he's got. So you look at that and you say, okay, I'll take a shot at that. So after Will Fuller went Jarvis Landry, then Mike Williams,
go ahead.
O.J. Howard, then A.J. Green. And so now Johnny's on the clock, about 37 seconds left.
So I'm going to go ahead and take DJ Moore here. I really wanted him on the last round. Just worked out that he ended up falling here, and I got a game plan because the guy after me has a quarterback already. So should not be drafting a quarterback, and sure enough, he did not. So Darius Geis and Latavius Murray came off the board. Now, normally I like to wait on my quarterbacks and wait even some more, and especially because it's a 10-teamer. But considering where I am and where my team is at, I really like what I'm building here. And the fact that Lamar Jackson is still on
this is available. This is a discounted draft because there's no way Baker Mayfield is going to be drafted before Lamar Jackson.
I will. Oh, look at that! And started a little quarterback run myself. My team is just nasty, dude.
But listen, for the sake of integrity here, I know I said it was discounted, but there are going to be drafts that you are in this year with some work buddies or some whatever people that maybe you got invited last second in, and they're going to do some weird stuff. So you've got to be ready to capitalize. Like maybe Johnny wasn't thinking QB, then he looks at the board and says, what is going on here? And look at, he starts this mini run after Lamar Jackson, then Matt Ryan, then Drew Brees, followed by Jared Cook, and then Jonathan Taylor. So
first rookie off the board.
I think, by the way, honestly, that's a great pick by you there with Lamar Jackson. I will now continue to wait on quarterback because that is how I do it.
Yeah. Well, but you were absolutely right. It was like I wasn't expecting to get Lamar Jackson, but when he was still on the board, and it was just like, might as well.
All right, so I waited here. I thought Johnny might have taken him, but I'm taking Kenyon Drake here.
That's a steal.
I think it's a steal here. I think it's another starting running back that did really well in the offense last year for Arizona. So just trying to round out my team here.
That might be even more of a steal than Lamar Jackson in the 8th.
Hey, championship pedigree, dude. That's what I have here. So Carson Wentz, then Alshon Jeffrey, Hunter Henry. I think that I looked at Hunter Henry a little bit there. Lamar Miller, Tariq Cohen, Emmanuel Sanders. Let me just ask you real quick about Hunter Henry. Mm-hmm. Do you have concern with Hunter Henry losing Phillip Rivers and going to a Tyrod Taylor? Do you think that Tyrod Taylor will be enough for Hunter Henry to finally be the fantasy darling tight end that we've kind of all wanted him to be?
I'm not concerned about I actually think that might be a little bit of a level playing field going from Phillip Rivers to Tyrod when it comes to the tight end position. We've seen Tyrod, when Tyrod was with Buffalo, he was very, very active with his tight ends. The tight ends were able to be streamed in Buffalo because of Tyrod and him getting the ball down. Even David Njoku last year looked good under Tyrod Taylor. So I actually do like Hunter Henry and his outlook for Tyrod and the Chargers. My bigger concern is just the injury prone. And I never like to label a player injury prone, but he has yet to play 16 games in an entire season. He's not even come close to it. Is he good when he's on the field? Absolutely, but there's definitely the injury concern there for me. So I usually stay away from Hunter Henry. But we saw last year what he could do when he's on the field. He's really, really good.
Look, I think I'm staying away from him too. I think I looked at him, but so after Hunter Henry, Lamar Miller, then Tariq Cohen, Emmanuel Sanders, and then I took another one of Johnny's Cardinals and Kyler Murray in the 9th round here. This was just some thinking I was looking at. This guy who took Jared Goff a little bit right after me. I figured I had 2 shots at him getting a quarterback. Either in the 9th or when it wrapped around in the 10th, and I didn't want to lose out on Kyler Murray here. So a little bit of a reach maybe, but the upside for Kyler, man, is Lamar Jackson style. And what I mean by that is it's QB1 upside overall for Kyler Murray. So especially with DeAndre Hopkins coming to town. So I was really excited about taking him there. So Allen Robinson, then Jared Goff, Tony Pollard, Robbie Anderson, and now Johnny Game Time Hicks is on the clock.
This is just like... how can I pass up on this talent here, dude? Devin Singletary in the 9th.
Oh, I love that. The
Yeah,
motor.
I had to take that one. I have so many running backs right now, but listen, when it's like this, you just do what you do, and then you trade. Running backs are gold, and especially the ones that I'm picking up are PPR guys. Let's look at the tight end position, see what we got, and I think we can wait a little bit longer on. Or actually, why not?
Don't you do it?
I would. Let's go for the double dip here and get Mark Mandrews,
You
friend of the
mother-
show, dude.
You
This is
mother
just
lover.
like- my team is just disgusting. Please let me know in the comments. Like this is
That's
just
what happens when you have a 10-team drafted with robots, dude. These robots also have
People-
coronavirus, I
People are
think.
gonna be like looking at this and listening to this and be like, "Wait, they told me this was the first time they mock draft. This is bullshit."
Yeah.
All right.
So Vance McDonald's comes off the board after him. Christian Kirk, DeAndre Swift, and Curtis Samuels. So Johnny, I'm going to kind of leave this pick up to you in your hands a little bit. Not saying you get to pick for me, but I have a question.
All right, I got to answer.
Where are your projections for Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb? What teams do you have them going to?
Oh man, I have gone back and forth with this, especially. I mean, Big Travy, we are in a dynasty league together. I have the first overall pick. You have the second overall pick, and I have the 4th and 5th as well. I traded up to get those.
I got 1 minute, so you better help me out.
Okay, so here, yeah, so I like CeeDee Lamb from a pure talent, and I think that he will land in the better situation. Now, Jerry Jeudy, they're saying he could go to the Jets. Now, I would rather CeeDee Lamb go to the Jets because of the finesse there. I just think he would pair better with Darnold. I think both of these guys are going to be absolute studs, but in year one, I would be more prone to say that CeeDee Lamb is going to have a better year one. I don't say that he's going to have the better career because that's going to depend on landing spot and whatnot. But I would go CeeDee Lamb just because he's a much more finesse. Like, he can go up and get the ball. He's going to be able to contribute right away.
And where do you think CeeDee Lamb, where does your gut tell you that he's landing? I'm going to take him here. And Sean McCoy.
I think he lands with the Raiders. But I have a hope and an inkling of hope in my heart that the Cardinals still draft him. And we just become like the greatest offense ever known to man. So that's my
pipe dream over here.
Yeah, that's my.
All right. So after I took CeeDee Lamb was LaShawn McCoy.
Because especially with this mock draft, you would be beyond jacked if CD.
Oh yeah, if I had Kyler Murray and CeeDee Lamb went to Arizona, I mean they're going to throw so many times it's unreal.
Yeah,
they're going to be in scoring range a lot. So Kenyon Drake. I'm happy with my Cardinal-centric draft so far here. Mm-hmm. LaShawn McCoy came after CeeDee Lamb, then Sterling Shepard, David Njoku, Darwin Thompson, James Washington, Russell Wilson, and now I'm back on the clock here. And Johnny, this was a darling. This was my favorite rookie out of last year, rookie running back, and that's Darrell Henderson Jr. And now with Todd Gurley going away, Henderson's probably going to get another crack at trying to be the guy. Obviously, Malcolm Brown exists, and he's done well for them. But Darrell Henderson has some elite juice. He's just got to get it put onto the field at the NFL level. So I'm going to take him as a lottery ticket upside play here now that we're in these deep rounds. And since you took Mark Andrews, I'll wait even longer on tight end.
I'm sorry I had to do that here. So after you took Darrell Henderson, Rashad Penny.
Yeah, you talk about the rest of this because honestly, I'm still hurt, man.
Rashad Penny goes after you, who I actually do think that's why I'm a little bit bearish on Chris Carson this year because I saw what Rashad Penny was doing at the end of last year and he looked good when he came back from injury. I had some concerns as a Chris Carson owner, so Rashad Penny I do think could see a lot of uptick in value. Sammy Watkins goes after Rashad Penny. And then Jerry Jeudy, who we were talking about with CeeDee Lamb. Then Cam Newton right before me, and I am now on the clock. And I cannot pass up on this player. It's just too much DK Metcalf, I will take in the 11th round. Travis is just Austin Hooper goes after me and then followed by Tom Brady, and I just have.
Sorry, dude. I'm giving you the silent treatment, man.
Yeah,
I'm still upset about Mark Andrews, man. You knew it. You knew that's whatever.
It's what.
So whatever.
Right.
Tom Brady, interesting take in here. This is obviously his second quarterback, and that's what happens here. But I mean, Tom Brady, are you taking him in a 10 team?
I am not. Not in a 10 team.
So what do you got? Okay, Kareem Hunt. Wow.
This was more of. I was looking at the landscape.
This is just like an F-it pick.
Well, it was just more so to back. I was like, oh, I grabbed the handcuff of Nick Chubb, even though I don't really need the handcuff of Nick Chubb. Because
you grabbed Chubb?
Yeah, I grabbed Chubb, and
it changed my life.
Dude, I'm loving my team.
Yeah, your team's pretty good, man. I'm not going to lie. Jordan Howard, Baltimore Ravens, then Geronimo Allison, Jameis Winston. And I'm actually okay with the Mark Andrews thing now because this draft has completely disrespected Darren the Baller Waller, dude.
Yeah, that's a great
Just
one.
Sitting here.
Way late.
Like, I don't understand it.
You are you not worried about them signing Jason Old Man Witten?
No, dude. Witten is a... What?
They signed Witten.
I know, dude.
Raiders,
like,
Vegas.
They brought
Raiders signed Jason Witten.
Yeah, they rolled him in a sarcophagus. The hell, dude? Ridiculous. So dumb, dude.
Tell us how you really feel.
Why did they sign him?
I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense, especially because
they must need an assistant head coach. Gruden just needed an assistant head coach. Gruden's just going to hire all the ex-Monday Night Football guys. Next, Booger's going to be on the team.
Yeah, right.
They're bringing Booger back. They're going to have, like, Mike Tirico over there. Water guy.
Water.
Ridiculous. I'm going to take Alexander Madison here.
It's good.
Yeah, I just think as a
all right, we've had some.
A lot of the times in the mocks, we tell you guys, we've told you for years, just in your drafts, you can wait on kicker and defense to sign them after your draft starts, way after. I mean, get your lottery tickets, stack your position players, and then you can take, you don't have to take kicker and defense, and then you can like see how things pan out. Maybe I draft Madison, and we're drafting 3 weeks before the season, and God forbid, Dalvin Cook's knee goes out in preseason, and then I'm sitting on Madison, who's the starter. So, and then you got to figure something else out, but you can work trades or whatever you need to do after that. So, anyways, I take Alexander Madison. We got the Cleveland Browns, the Chargers, Justin Tucker, Dallas Cowboys. Johnny the Backstabber is on the clock here. So there are a couple. You trust a guy, you work with him for years on a podcast, and he just takes all the knowledge that he gets from me and uses it against me. It's unreal.
So I'm going to draft a guy that has been heavily rumored and linked to the Arizona Cardinals here, and
oh my God,
J.K. Dobbins. Look great at Ohio State. We have not had our rookie show yet, where we will break down rookies and all of that. But J.K. Dobbins, really like this guy and what he could potentially be, and it's a stab. Why not? Because right now I'm going to.
There are some
gems, dude. It's just like Cortland Sutton. I'll take.
Oh, damn you, dude! I'm so sick of you, dude. I just want to rage quit this mock draft so bad right now.
Rage quit.
I'm just going to rage quit it. Wow. I'm sitting here like, oh, yeah, there's so many gems. Like Cortland Sutton. Just sitting here.
Dude, my team is just...
I'm going to get a piece of that Kansas City offense. I'm going to take Mecole Hardman here.
I was going between Mecole and Cortland.
Oh, Sutton's the right play.
Yeah.
Yeah, number one wide receiver, and Drew Lock has a live arm.
So we can go ahead and go over our teams here, Travis, real quick. We'll wrap up this show and this mock draft. As you can see,
if you're watching on YouTube,
if you're watching on YouTube, Travis nor I picked a defense or a kicker, a lot like he explained just a couple of minutes ago. We did this because if you're drafting this early, I don't know why you would do that, but if you did, then you want to definitely take flyers on guys as opposed to kickers and defenses, when those can change a lot from now until the season starts, and you're going to end up dropping and adding kickers throughout the season. So there's no point in wasting your picks with those guys. Much rather fill those guys up with other skill position players. All right, Travis, so you had the number 4 overall pick here. You want to go over your team real quick and give a rundown, and then how?
So I went upside down in the first 2 rounds. Did Devontae Adams and Mike Evans. It is a PPR league, so I think there's a little bit more of a shift in value to wide receivers, especially ingrained number 1 wide receivers in a PPR league as opposed to a standard league. So I definitely wanted to make sure I had a core of wide receivers I could trust. So I went upside down, got Devontae Adams, Mike Evans. Then I stacked 3 running backs in a row, 3 beastly running backs with great volume to counteract that they aren't the best PPR running backs, but they are guys that are going to get consistent volume. We're talking 20-plus touches a game, and that will help balance out in a PPR league. So that's Leonard Fournette, Mark Ingram, and Derrick Henry back-to-back-to-back. Then I came back, and I just wanted to balance the team out until I could get some stabs at tight end or quarterback. So I just kept looking at the pool and what was available. T.Y. Hilton with number 1 role in Indy. Now with Phillip Rivers coming back, I have a lot more confidence in Phillip Rivers to pepper him with targets than I did, God, I'm blanking on his name. Quarterback of Indianapolis Colts last year.
Oh, Brisket.
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Sorry. Brisket sounds good right now. Will Fuller.
We just call him Brisket, the Brisket man.
T.Y. Hilton, and then Will Fuller. This is another one where I just think the upside's awesome here. May not even ever have to use Will Fuller, but I could plug him in at a flex, and then if he really pops, maybe he becomes a top 5, top 10 wide receiver. Kenyon Drake, Johnny, I really like what he did last year for Arizona. I liked getting him here in the 8th round as a backup running back.
He will be a top 8 running back.
You heard it here first, folks. So then I took Kyler Murray just to, I think, getting DeAndre Hopkins another year in that offense, the running backs being healthy, the wide receivers, they drafted a ton of wide receivers. Not all of them were healthy last year. Mm-hmm. I just think that offense can take a huge step forward. You could see them be, a top 5, if not the best offense in the league last year, and it wouldn't surprise you. CeeDee Lamb I took out of, more of Johnny's suggestion and his breakdown of who he thinks has the better redraft year. And I think that is CeeDee Lamb, as he's stated. Darrell Henderson Jr. was an upside pick, along with Alexander Madison. I think they have shots to be really good players if they get the role. And then Darren Waller in the 12th. I thought that was completely disrespectful. Give me Darren the Baller Waller as a late tight end. Put some respect on his name. And then Mecole Hardman at the end, because Johnny, once again, stabbed me in the back with Mark Andrews and then stabbed me in the back with Courtland Sutton. And, I don't think I'm going to talk to Johnny after this for a little while. So, Johnny, why don't you
go ahead and run
tell
down
the people
TFW's team. We picked from the 9th position. First round, Michael Thomas fell to us. Then followed by Nick Chubb in the 2nd. Wanted to grab a running back. I wish Dalvin Cook. I wish I'd seen him, because I probably would trade out Dalvin Cook for Nick Chubb, but it's okay. We ended up being okay. Chris Godwin was there in the 3rd, so to pair that with Michael Thomas. Then Josh Jacobs was there in the 4th. Couldn't pass up on that value there. Went back and forth between Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs. Ultimately, Josh Jacobs, who we decided on. Then Austin Eckler in the 5th, who just got a massive contract re-up, which, he got more than what Melvin Gordon was looking for, which is kind of crazy. I followed that up with Miles Sanders. He was just the best available there. I kind of put myself in a position where I could start doing best available based on what I had done in the previous 5 rounds. So Miles Sanders took him, only guy right now in Philly. DJ Moore was there in the 7th round. I really liked his talent and was evaluating himself in the 6th. So luck of the draw there. Got him in the 7th. Lamar Jackson in the 8th. He just happened to fall to me. Wasn't really looking for a quarterback, but sometimes you take the value. Follow that up with Devin Singletary. Then I took Mark Andrews in the 10th, which Big Travy has been complaining about. Stole that from him. DK Metcalf somehow there in the 11th round. Kareem Hunt in the 12th to back up the Nick Chubb, get the handcuff there. J.K. Dobbins, dart throw again. Not sure where he's going to land, but I do like his talent coming out of college. And then in the last round, Cortland Sutton proved to be a pretty good value right there. Another dart throw, a guy who showed some flashes, a wide receiver 2 last year.
Well, I would think that we probably both believe that we have the better team here. I did like your team, but as you were going through your team, I think that mine is better.
I decided that.
Well, I was just reminded that I think that mine is better. So,
all right, Whisper Nation.
We want to know what you guys think. Yeah, help us decide this.
You guys will be the main guys that will decide what we think. Let us know. Until next time. Travis, you got anything else you want
to? No, I think this was a lot of fun. And Whisper Nation, we're going to try and continue to bring you all the quarantine content you can get your eyes and ears on. And so if you want more content, more fantasy football content, make sure you follow us at the Fantasy Whispers on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and then also head over to thefantasywhispers.com because we've got everything that you could want over there. Our articles, previous episodes, Johnny's, skin regimen is on there. No, I'm just kidding. That's not on
a
there.
Secret.
You got to pay for that. That's Patreon. You got to pay for that content. But yeah. Either way, guys, we appreciate the support, and let us know in the comments who you think won this mock draft. And until next time, I am Big Travy. That is Johnny Game Time Hicks, and we are the Fantasy Whisperers, and we're out. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Whisperers podcast. You can hear more from John and Travis on Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at TF Whisperers.